What's going on, dudes, dudettes, pumpers, and pumperettes? Today, we're going to catch up on AMP and Flexa news. Spoiler, there's not much. The insane price and volume action that we've been seeing over these past few days, and why, depending on this candle close right here, you may want to go in the fridge and dig out that champagne that you cracked open at 4 o'clock on New Year's and put back in to let it go flat. Let's jump right in. So, AMP/Flexa news. Let's hop on over to the socials and see what's going on. AMP's Twitter. Nothing really going on besides a staking announcement from before Christmas and custody announcement with Coinbase. Hopefully that'll lead to something more in the future. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Flexa Network. Telling somebody to migrate from Flexa to AMP. That's all we've had in the past month. Over on Tyler's page. Not a whole lot really relevant here in regards to discussion on AMP or Flexa Network. Trevor's page. Same story here. Hasn't tweeted since November 18th. One little piece that is worth pointing out that I found that will reassure you that these guys are still alive is to hop on over to this podcast on SoundCloud, an interview with Tyler Spalding. It was about 12 days ago, but this one kind of flew under the radar, so if you missed it, like I did for a while, go ahead and check it out. Doesn't really give you a whole lot of news from behind the curtain as they mention here, but it's good to hear Tyler talk, good to hear a little bit of his story, a little bit of where he sees things going in the future. So that's about it for looking around on AMP, Flexa, poking around the Twitter feeds. So, clearly we've been having a massive price explosion following this little bit of a, you might call this an ascending, you've got an ascending trend line here, right? Followed by a major breakout going on right now. So what's going on? Do we potentially have people in the know on some big news related to AMP or Flexa Network that we might be seeing in the near future, and they're securing as many bags as they can? Possible. There's literally no way that we can know that. Or let's say people found cryptocurrency number 253 by CoinMarketCap's tally to pump up, or to jump in on for the alt season pump. But if we go ahead and dig a little bit deeper, I'm going to show you why I don't really think that's the case as of yet. But I think if this pumpage keeps going, it may be the case here really soon. So if we jump over to the Etherscan for the token and start digging around a little bit, first let's take note that our trading volume in the past 24 hours has seen an increase of about 105%, with an 18.9%, effectively 19%, launch up in the price. Now, those numbers indicate that if this was people finding a new coin for alt season, you'd be seeing a notable increase in wallet count, right? Or at least a slight tick upwards. However, when we jump over to the Etherscan here, you'll see that the number of addresses actually holding AMP token have decreased by a tiny fraction of a percent, indicating to me, as you can tell this tab is a little out of date, as we'll take a look at in the price action in a minute, indicating to me that this is not a case of retail investors happening upon this on Gemini and pumping in money out of the blue because they saw a cheap token, right? There's got to be something else going on here, right? And we can't speculate on if anybody knows any special things about AMP. I'm sure they do, but let's check this out. Now, the pumping began before this tweet dropped, but clearly, news and action like this, there's going to be people that know this is coming before it spreads out across the Twitter space. I'm not going to read this entire thread. I'll link it in the description, just like I'll link the SoundCloud link for you guys. But if we take a look at this, breaking major news from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, cited as the largest U.S. banking regulator, with new guidance allowing U.S. banks to use public blockchains and dollar stablecoins as a settlement infrastructure in the U.S. financial system. Obviously a huge win. Allows us meaning the banking institutions. This is a good time to point out that I am not a financial advisor. I'm not offering financial advice. I am not even a banker. I don't even work as a teller at a bank. I have no expertise in this field, and if you take anything I say as suggestions to buy or sell, you are doing yourself a fabulously large disservice. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an investment advisor. Everything with a grain of salt. Do your own research. DYOR. But this is exciting news that we're seeing that I think is helping fuel a little bit of this pump towards the end of it. Well, towards the end up until now, I should say, because I think it's about time we jump over and we do a little bit of amateur TA over here on the AMP charts. You may have seen my meme lines drawn up on there already. Really exciting news, though, especially seeing things like this. Full disclosure, I am also invested in XRP among many other tokens and coins, and this to me screams, we're not happy with the SEC over at the Office of the Comptroller, but we'll see how that kind of drama plays out. Now, over here on the chart, first thing I've gone ahead and done is I've drawn us a Fibonacci retracement of the entire existence of the AMP token. As you'll know, after the initial release, it was just a hellacious ride. Note we're over here on the log chart. Doesn't really make a substantial difference right now on the price actions here. I bought in, full disclosure, probably around 0.6 of a penny or so after this initial dip. Had that fun little crab market, and then just absolute annihilation of the price action. Now, this Fibonacci retracement is drawn from the very top of this wick down to the very bottom of the bottom wick. And one thing I want to point out here is some of these support levels that, especially recently, we've been finding. As I mentioned earlier, we've got a little bit of an ascending support line going along this market since early December, mid-November, sorry. That was providing support on all of those wicks that we were seeing dip down. Very nice to see. And we also coincidentally found a lot of support here at this particular line, round about 0.0059, which coincided with support that we saw way back over here in October, which to me indicates that this is a pretty solid level of support that if we start seeing retracements, we can rely on. This trend line here seems reliable, but time will tell. We can always smash through those things. So the more exciting thing that's going on right now, as opposed to retelling this terrible story that happened here, is what's going on up here recently. Now you'll notice we were traveling along here between the 0.236 and the 382 for quite a while. We tested that resistance twice here, and it looked like we were going to get a breakout, lost it. Looked like we were going to get a breakout, lost it. And here, yesterday, this is trading in UTC time, sorry. Here yesterday, we managed to breach that and close above, which we had managed to barely do before. But following that close, managed to start pumping up more. And here, recently, over less than the last 24 hours, we've managed to not only smash through that 382, but then smash through the 0.5 as well. And right now, we are wicking up into the 618. I've been watching this chart for probably about the last, well, I've been watching this chart all day, but very closely for the last half hour or so. We've been doing exactly what you saw here. Hitting 1 penny. Dipping down rather to 974. 1.1974, 1.01974, and we keep flirting with this 618 level. Now, if we can get a breakout above this 618, I think that solidifies where we're sitting here. Couple reasons. Number one, if you believe in Fibonacci retracements, this is a major level of support that we should be reaching to hopefully allow us to keep this pump going to the upside during alt season, which, especially with this new Office of the Comptroller news, may be a possibility. In addition to that, you also just have this psychological barrier here that, gee willikers, it sure would be nice to finally trade above 1 penny, right? You always feel, you're always scared to invest too much in something that's trading under a penny per token or coin, right? Logically, it's a great place to get in because you can really maximize your profits if it's a solid project like Ampflex Network is. However, there is always that little tang of doubt of, oh no, I'm not even trading in the equivalent of penny stocks. I'm trading in sub-penny stocks. So breaking the 1 cent barrier is, in my opinion, going to be so important. You can even see that it was a brief level of support here after the initial release dip that was going on there. So happens to coincide almost perfectly with this 618 Fibonacci retracement. And so if we can get above this and close this daily candle above that line, I will be so happy and we will be riding so high and just mooning up here is my hope. Now, levels of concern here. We've printed out 5 consecutive green candles. Granted, the first 2 were rather small, but if you go back and look at the former dailies, it's generally about when we start running out of steam. Now, granted, those were all generally trading within 1 Fibonacci retracement. We're seeing a little bit more substantial movement here, but that's one thing that I'm looking out for here. Additionally, you can also see that the RSI getting up there into the overbought territory. Just about every time we've breached above the overbought, we've gotten small little dips, and generally traded sideways after that little dip. So, are we overbought, or do we have more room for this baby to grow? Now, the volume 4th of January UTC time was definitely promising. Obviously, our 24-hour volume hasn't fully printed here, so discount this 5th of January level in UTC time until we actually close that candle. So if we get a 24-hour volume that rivals what we've been seeing over the past few days, it'll also be a bullish signal for me. Worst case scenario, I think we do see a retracement, and more likely than not, see support over here at the 382 at 0.0072 US dollars. More bearish option, maybe to retrace down to this ascending support line here. I don't foresee that happening, but wouldn't discount it. And then a retrace down to this level around 0.0059, 0.006. That's going to be our strongest support as far as I can tell. If we break below that, then not looking so hot there, broskies. As you can see, the RSI getting a little more extended here as that candle inches upward. So, 3 o'clock UTC right now. The next 21 hours are absolutely critical for AMP token. But that's about all I have for you guys today. Really exciting stuff to be in this token so early. And let's hope and pray that we start seeing some real bull run alt season run-ups here. Thanks guys. I'll catch you in the next video.